right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Rain around this evening, but we're going to see how much longer this rain stays around with us overnight and what we're expecting the rest of the weekend.
Saying goodbye. A local family leaning on the support of the community to honor a man shot and killed in downtown St. Louis. But first, Metrolink riders witnessing violence.
It honestly could have been me. We were sitting right on each other.
The moment an argument led to a deadly shooting on board. Tonight, one man is dead and another is in custody after an argument today led to a shooting on a Metrolink train. Good evening. I'm Brent Solomon. 5 on your side's Mercedes McKay joins us now with what people on that train at the time saw and heard. Mercedes.
Brent, 5 on your side was on the scene as police arrested a suspect just minutes after the shooting happened. A witness tells us inside the train, guns were pointed at innocent bystanders.
It honestly could have been me. We were sitting right on each other.
A typical Saturday morning on a Metrolink train turned into a terrifying one for some riders.
Me and the victim, we made eye contact, and it's like he knew that something wasn't right. And then after that split second, that's when things went left.
Just after 10 a.m. at the Maplewood Manchester station, a brief argument on the tracks turned deadly.
The older guy stood up and started letting off shots. Like I said, I'm in the seat directly behind him, so that's when I ducked. There was about 6 or 7 shots that were let off.
Crime scene tape surrounded the platform after officers arrived and found the man who had been shot. He was rushed to an area hospital but later died. Police arrested the suspect immediately, while passengers were thankful for life.
Just went into prayer because, like I say, it was unfortunate that happened, but in this case, it could have been more victims.
Like many, Monty Hall relies on this transit system.
It's what I use for my transportation, that and my skateboard.
But hearing that someone lost their life while using this necessity made Hall hesitant and angry.
There's a big world out here, a lot of people out here. You can experience a lot, you can do a lot. You don't gotta kill nobody.
While police stayed around the station hours after the shooting happened, many, like Hall, are ready for the violence to stop.
Y'all need to be good Americans and start doing start doing the right thing.
Metrolink released a statement saying they are committed to improving safety and security on their transit system. They said in part they are moving forward with the secure platform plan. That includes new high security gates, new fencing, and surveillance camera monitoring capabilities from the real-time camera center. You can read Metrolink's full statement on our website, KSDK.com, under the As Seen on TV section.
Mercedes, thanks. A memorial this afternoon for 30-year-old Darius Mullins. Police say a teenager shot and killed the St. Louis man Thursday near Keener Plaza. Mullins enjoyed skateboarding. His loved ones released red and black balloons in his honor. Police say he was taking a break from skateboarding when the 17-year-old suspect approached him. Words were exchanged and then gunfire. The teen is now in custody. Investigators want to see this case prosecuted on the federal level. A beloved garbage truck driver in Glendale died early this morning. Loved ones say he had an undiagnosed infection. About a month ago, Patrick Mack lost his daughter from a domestic violence incident and gained custody of her children. Right now, the community is helping to pay for expenses through a GoFundMe. To find out how you can help, visit this story on KSDK.com under the As Seen on TV section. Tonight, a Lake St. Louis police officer is back home after being hurt in the line of duty last month. Officers gathered at the police headquarters in Bridgeton, where they led a procession to the officer's home. Officer Nathan Livingston was one of 5 officers hurt when a car hit him on I-70. They were investigating a police chase at the time. The driver, Matthew Jones, is facing DWI charges. Time now for your weather first forecast, but first let's see if we can get a live look over downtown St. Louis. Showers are moving through the area. If you're out and about on this Saturday night, you might need your umbrella. Let's turn it over to meteorologist Gary Frank. Gary.
Yeah, good evening, Brent. And, we've been fortunate staying inside easily throughout this evening, but if you joined us at 5 and 6, it was as sunny as can be. You didn't see that rain coming, but it's part of a front that has moved further south. And what you'll notice here as we look at various cameras, like the one we just showed you downtown, where breaks in the clouds are around over the arch, but not so much here at the airport. Rain at times, which is much heavier to the north of Litchfield and Pittsfield. I do want to zoom in on a few locations right now, which are seeing the most significant rain, which is really O'Fallon, Cottleville, areas in St. Charles County and West County, and north of Grafton here, right across the state line of the Metro East Side. That's where probably the heaviest rain has been falling. Now, this is all continuing to gradually push further south and will impact us here. But as I mentioned, a few breaks in the clouds. The temperature is the most significant difference. And if you've watched any of the City SC game, 49 now. It was 69 just hours ago. That north-northwest breeze has moved in. Tonight, rain ends. Temps won't fall a bunch more, but we are going to see that rain come to a close. We'll look at what it's done so far, look at pictures from that game, and also talk about what we're expecting to start the month of May.
All right, we'll see you soon. Today, St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner addressed supporters at a church this morning. It comes as a growing number of Democrats are lining up to challenge her in next year's primary. Today, Gardner criticized a judge who moved to hold her in indirect criminal contempt of court this week. Today's rally comes amid a legal battle between the city's top prosecutor and Attorney General Andrew Bailey, who is trying to have her removed from office. Gardner supporters gave her a T-shirt calling her, quote, the mother of justice. She gave a 13-minute speech today where she said she plans to stay in office.
I'm not leaving. I'm not resigning. I'm not doing nothing. You're going to have to remove me.
Well, 2 Democrats are now running for her job. Defense attorney David Mueller is already in the race, and former St. Louis Alderman Mike Gross plans to jump into the race next week. Today, anti-abortion advocates marching through the streets of downtown for the 6th annual March on the Arch. It's to help raise awareness about abortion legislation and to show support for women experiencing unexpected pregnancies. Right now, abortion is banned in Missouri.
Law enforcement didn't take it seriously. Prosecutors didn't take it seriously.
A man repeatedly stalks women for years. Now, state lawmakers are pushing a bill to fight back. Our I-Team explains. A powerful and addictive synthetic drug claiming young lives. Our Verify team explores whether that same drug is behind the most deaths of people 18 to 45.
Why this system of low pressure around the Great Lakes and this high out west impacts us and what we're expecting the next few days.
Missouri could soon have a cyber crimes task force. A senator from St. Louis County hopes her plan will become law in the next few weeks after she saw the reports of a repeat cyber stalker. Our I-Team, Paula Vassan, explains how it could help victims.
Technology is used for all of us to stay in touch with each other. In the case of Robert Merkel, it was used to stalk women for years, threatening to rape, even murder women repeatedly, even after he got out of prison once.
I hate to use his name because he seems like a horrific person.
State Senator Tracy McCreary wants to toughen the state's response to cyberstalking. She's followed the I-Team's reporting on Merkel for years. From the allegations,
I know what it feels like to be a victim and try to get heard.
When he went to prison,
law enforcement didn't take it seriously. Prosecutors didn't take it seriously.
When he got out, he soon pleaded guilty to doing it all over again.
It's sort of a product of the internet.
So McCreary has introduced a new bill in Jefferson City, one with bipartisan support.
They don't say, hey, I'm a Republican, hey, I'm a Democrat. They are just talking about their experiences and how traumatic it is to have somebody stalk you via apps and other forms of technology.
It creates a cybercrimes task force made up of law enforcement, victim advocates, victims of stalking themselves, and forensics experts. The task force would examine existing regulations and work to strengthen laws and enhance penalties if needed. It's something Dr. Samir Handuja supports. He's with the Cyberbullying Research Center, a nonprofit that studies the impact of cybercrime. Right now, he says Missouri is one of 3 states without laws that explicitly mention the electronic or digital aspect of stalking.
Technology-facilitated violence is definitely on the uptick. We're seeing it happen across different demographics and in various regions. And I think this is going to continue to be the trend.
McCreary hopes this task force stops that trend, working to stay ahead of new technology that potential stalkers may use.
I think that moving this task force bill forward is important to get the conversation going and to draw attention to the matter, but I also think it's important that survivors and victims feel like people are listening and that we care.
The Department of Justice says in 2019, nearly 1 million people in the U.S. age 16 or older fell victim to cyber stalking. Senator McCreary says her legislation is going through the Capitol now. She's hopeful it will pass by the end of the session next month. Do you have a tip for us to check out? Email me at paula@ksdk.com. For the I-Team, Paula Vasan, 5 on your side.
And Merkel pled guilty to federal charges last month. He also has another case pending in St. Louis County. That hearing is scheduled for June. We'll be right back. An addictive synthetic drug. Tonight, Brandon Lewis from our National Verify team looks into whether it's the leading cause of death among young adults.
Over the past few years, several politicians on social media have claimed fentanyl is the leading cause of death for Americans 18 to 45. Data from Google Trends shows many people are wondering if that's true. So, let's verify. Our sources are the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the National Institute on Drug Abuse, and Families Against Fentanyl. We want to tell you up front that this claim needs context because the CDC doesn't track the number of people who die from fentanyl. Many of the posts cite a 2021 report from Families Against Fentanyl, a nonprofit that raises awareness about fentanyl. When we looked through their report, we found it was based on an analysis of accidental drug overdose data collected by the CDC. We then attempted to recreate the analysis by using the same CDC database. We found that in 2020, more than 35,000 people aged 18 to 45 died from drug overdoses caused by synthetic narcotics. This is more than any other leading cause of death, like suicides, car accidents, or cancer. However, the CDC tells Verify this doesn't mean the agency concluded that fentanyl is the leading cause of death for this age group. This is because fentanyl is just one type of synthetic narcotic, and the CDC's database doesn't differentiate between fentanyl and other synthetic drugs. Although a spokesperson acknowledges fentanyl deaths likely make up the majority of those deaths because previous work has shown that fentanyl comprises approximately 90% of the synthetic narcotics category. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
All right, let's take you to South County now for a classic car show today, and it was for a good cause. Fairway Automotive had over 300 classic cars on display. This was behind the Twisted Tree restaurant in Sunset Hills. All proceeds from that car show benefit the Thompson Foundation for Autism. That group helps families impacted by autism.
And the home of the
Just a few hours ago, 6 people in Illinois receiving the state's highest honor in the Illinois House of Representatives chambers. The people being honored are known as the Lincoln Laureates. In honor of Lincoln, the order honors people who uplift communities in Illinois. The recognition was established back in 1964. Congratulations to this year's recipients. Well, today a local couple is celebrating 75 years of marriage. 5 on Your Side was invited to the celebration in Maryland Heights today. Meet Frank and Arlene Matthews of Baldwin. They met at the Lincoln Theater in Belleville. They married in 1948 when they were both 19 and 20. Today they gave advice on the secret to 75 years.
The main thing is be understanding. Be understanding. Sometimes it's 90-10, sometimes it's 50-50, sometimes it's 60-40, and so forth and so on. But you only pass through here but once.
I think he could give us a whole show of advice. 5 on Your Side would like to wish that lovely couple a very happy anniversary. Time now for your weather first forecast. Meteorologist Gary Frank is here. Gary, I'll tell you what, 75 years, that's something to aspire to.
He's on to something, you know, and we just had, our 75th anniversary here, so
Yep.
hopefully he's been joining us. But I'll tell you what, just listening to him, not only does he sound super sharp, but he sounds like you could really have a nice conversation with him,
Well,
and
yeah,
his
you're right
wife.
about
So
that,
that
yep.
looks like a really nice, a nice night a nice day to enjoy, and just in time for the evening. Started to rain a little bit, as expected here at 5 and 6 o'clock. Hadn't affected everybody, but the difference is, my goodness, it is colder outside. It is a lot different than when we joined you at 5 and 6, as that front has finally moved through. So it's gotten our attention, and we start to see that here. And I want to point out a couple things. Obviously, the rain here, but the leading edge of this line here from Sparta all the way up to Nashville, and you'll see that from Flora and Salem. That's where the front has moved through. The wind shift line, the gusts are up now, and you'll see that. Our winds are already gusting up to 30 miles an hour. And we have a pretty steady rain from Litchfield on 55 north, Alton, and then on the Missouri side, not quite as much. But I do want to show you what this looks like over the next few hours. It will start to taper off, but be out of here really by midday or midnight, and then we'll see temperatures continue moving further south. I mean, it is chilly right now. We're anywhere from 45 to 50, 47 O'Fallon, 52 Millstadt, 50 in Edwardsville. Look to the north, and you can see where not only this front has moved through, but this wide area of rain has really impacted you from even the boot heel. It's still in the 60s. So that's the big difference for us. The rain ends, but the wind really picks up, and it's all part of this system, which is in the Great Lakes. It's spinning rain. It's spinning snow. It's got a lot of cold air, not only at the surface, but well above the surface. And so, for the most part, we're not going to get into any of that. That's going to stay, for the most part, on the Great Lakes area and in the Northeast. But we're in between this. We've got this high pressure, which usually dry weather, settled weather versus the unsettled weather. And so we're kind of in between that. You'll see these lines. These are lines of equal pressure, but as they jam together, it usually means the wind is going to be up because the pressure is we're starting to work our way from one air mass to the other. And as a result, the wind is going to be significant. We got a northwest breeze, 15 to 25 mile an hour, gusts upwards of 35. And get ready for a steady diet of breeze Sunday into Monday and maybe even early Tuesday. So for the next few days, pretty significantly different. Breezy the next couple, 50s, 63, 64, 72. I do expect on Thursday and Friday, we'll see our next chance for rain. The positive for some of you, as you're working your way into the month of May, it looks like we're going to be at least above average, if not a little above here. Heading into next weekend, we'll see how that goes. But it is trending. It's going to feel a little more like May. But, this is kind of our dipping our toes into the beginning of May, which obviously you can see our average is 73. We're nowhere near that for the next few.
And it's really not that bad when you
It's
think
not that
about
bad.
it.
I've been opening the windows at night, minus my allergies and stuff.
Right.
AC's not going 100 miles an hour. I think
Yeah.
we can all handle that. Our
Yeah.
energy bills will thank us later on.
Yeah, we'll take it. Thank you, my friend. Corey's standing by now with sports.
Guys, City SC sure knows how to turn up the drama, and we had another dramatic one against Portland over at City Park tonight. We'll take you through the twists and turns coming up next in sports.
The Sports Desk is sponsored by Jim Butler Chevrolet, the Midwest's #1 Chevy dealer 10 years running.
It has been a busy week for City SC. Tonight is their third game in the past 8 days. The only result they hadn't had in this past week was a loss. But that was before the Portland Timbers rolled into town tonight. So let's go to City Park for another big-time crazy crowd on hand for this one. Roman Berkey, he's just so good. Great saves galore. There's one right there. And here comes another one. But after this save, the refs are going to say that John Nelson got his hand on the ball in the penalty area. That's a penalty kick awarded to Portland. I don't know. What do you guys think? Well, it's close. Of course, Portland converts. Timbers go up 1-0. City never says die, though. 78th minute, and it's Celio Pompeo who bangs one home in off a substitution. Tie game. Place goes nuts. Look at these fans coming up. Oh, yeah, they're going crazy. But the elation would not last too long. 81st minute, Yimi Chara beats Berkey, and that's how it ends. Portland comes into town, beats City SC 2-1, the same score City beat them by earlier this year.
We don't like to spend the rest of the weekend playing like this in front of our fans. So that doesn't sit well to any of us. The guys are bitterly disappointed outside or in the locker room. And that's the most hurtful thing, right? Not to reward the fans with something. So.
The Cardinals need a break, and the Dodgers are not going to give it to them. While things haven't been sunshine and roses for LA so far this year, they're still the Dodgers. They had a legendary lefty on the hill tonight, aimed at continuing the Cards' struggles. Of course, I'm talking about this man, Clayton Kershaw, future Hall of Famer. He was predictably great tonight. Jordan Montgomery was really good, too, for the Cardinals. One blemish here on an RBI single to the 0-73 hitting Austin Barnes. That put LA up 1-0. Monty pitched into the 7th inning, only gave up that run. He struck out 7. Dylan Carlson broke up Kershaw's perfect game bid in the 5th and then made this tremendous catch in the bottom half of the inning. Right now, Dodgers are still up 1-0 late. NFL draft update. Mizzou's top talent got picked today. Lineman Isaiah McGuire went in the 4th round to the Browns. Our local guy, East St. Louis safety Antonio Johnson, had to wait longer than expected, but he has a new home in Jacksonville. And Illinois capped off an impressive draft with the running back Chase Brown on his way to Cincinnati. Stanley Cup playoffs, Game 6. Maple Leafs and Lightning tied 1-1 in overtime. Salvation for Toronto. John Tavares somehow gets that one to go in, and the Leafs win their first playoff series since 2004. How's that possible? Ryan O'Reilly, he's moving on, and Pat Maroon's quest for another Stanley Cup comes to an end. Come right back here about 24 hours from now. We've got a fun Sports Plus on deck tomorrow night. Frank Cusimano chats with Mizzou head hoops coach Dennis Gates, and I've got a story I know you'll love from the golf course. One of the big draws of golf is that it's a sport you can play forever. Larry DeCampo is taking that to heart at Baldwin Golf Course. The 103-year-old veteran is out there every Wednesday for his league, and he may be modest, but he's still got some talent.
From 0 to 5, 0 at this point.
He did birdie number 9 basically by himself, you know, and I've never birdied number 9.
I look forward to it all the time. That's my Wednesdays are just set aside for golf. That's it.
He may not hit it as far as he used to, but I envy one very particular thing.
Yeah.
He always hits it straight.
Ah.
A lot of the older golfers, they can't hit it as far, but it's always right down the middle, and I wish I could do that too.
That's all right. I like that guy.
You
know what I'm
He was a lot
saying?
of fun.
That's talent.
It was fun.
Thanks for the company tonight. We hope you have the great rest of your weekend.